Howdy, partner. All right. We are only as good as our role play partner when we're doing role play. So when we are role playing, I see this happen a lot on the phone role plays in the morning. You got one person, one client, or one agent doing the talking, and you've got the client, the buyer, or the seller, barely engaged, which, to be fair, is not unrealistic when you're calling people in real life. You get completely disengaged people that you are talking to. But at the same time, unless that is absolutely the role play objective of the day, call somebody that doesn't even know why they're on the fucking phone. Let's be a little bit more present there, especially when you are the role play partner, because your role play partner, you being the partner, is going to make the agent, the person playing the agent, that much stronger in the role that they're doing. So be authentic. One thing I love doing is imagine yourself as one of your clients. So if you get that role play topic, what was the role play topic this morning? Someone remind me. Oh yeah, cash offer. Okay. First thing I'm going to do before I even think of how I'm going to come and beat that objection is I'm going to think back to a client that I've had an appointment with where that was a topic, where they actually wanted a cash offer, because that's how I'm going to act. I come from an acting background. So the first thing I always do is, how am I going to play this role? And you need to think about that for a few seconds before you're doing a role play. Create your character. Don't overblow it. Don't do something absolutely ridiculous, but make it realistic. Think back to someone that you actually dealt with this same exact objection. Imagine yourself in that role, and that's going to make the role play for the person playing the agent so much more realistic, and it's going to help them grow so much better. Listen and be just as engaged as the agent. That goes for the people that are not role playing at all. That goes for the people that it's not their turn, because we have 3, 4, sometimes 5 people in a role play room. Make sure that you are listening and engaged, because there might come a point where everything freezes and that client or that agent does not know how to get past that. Let's jump in. Let's uplift each other. And also, you need to give really, really good feedback. We'll get into feedback, but you're not going to give good feedback if you're not engaged during that call. This is my favorite one. I know we've had a little bit of contention about this over the last few weeks, but I want to reiterate, be tough. Be tough as a role play partner, because the agent is not going to grow. You as an agent is not going to grow if every role play is like, oh, I guess they said 3 of the right words. Yeah, sure, I'll meet with you for an appointment. Boom, there's the end of the role play call. That doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help the agent. That sets completely unrealistic expectations, a lot of times for new agents, who then go into the field and somebody gives them an objection and they crumble. Because that happens. That's happened to me. That's happened to every one of you, I'm sure, at some point with an objection in the real world, because we were not tough enough. That does not mean be mean. I'm not telling you to every time be an objective, high D asshole on the phone on role play, but be tough. Give those objections. Push back a little bit. And that's going to come from this. Imagine one of your clients. How did they push back? How much did they push back? Because if you're going to remember one of your clients for these role play, you're probably going to remember one of those clients that you didn't necessarily get very quickly, if not at all, that you didn't convert. You're going to remember those bad ones really, really good. They're all going to be up here. Use those as fuel for role play. One thing I love to do is give hints and clues. If we're talking about the cash, oh my gosh, cash offer program, I would throw in a hint like, yeah, you know, we already own another home. Okay, great. They don't need to do trade-in necessarily. I'm leaving little hints. Leave hints as a role play partner to not make it easier for the agent, but to give those hints as like to see if they can actually listen to what the client's saying and take that into the next question that the agent's going to ask, or next thing that the agent's going to explain about. Throw those little hints around to test the agent to see if they're actually listening to what you're saying, because that is the #1 most important part of role play as an agent. Are you making sure that you are listening to what your client is saying and actually repeating it back and then overcoming that objection? Those are the most important things you can do there. Feedback. We'll talk into the rules of giving feedback, but make sure that all of these things go into feedback, 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 because if you are not listening, you can't give good feedback. What's up?
I think something that might help with being a good role play partner too, just a suggestion, is, I mean, in real life, like when you're actually at an appointment, if you have a bad role play and you guys you just keep getting hit with objection after objection, like the same objection reiterated again, which happens sometimes in role play. I've noticed the difference between role play and real life is in real life, sometimes you won't get the appointment. I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes they will hang up without the appointment. Sometimes you will walk away without the listing agreement signed, and sometimes you need to follow up. And I feel like on our role plays in the morning, sometimes we get to a point where they get the objection the 10th time, and then they're just like, okay, that's fine, let's just meet on Tuesday at 2. And I think maybe ending some role plays as a partner where you don't get the appointment might be valuable, so you can say, this is why I feel you couldn't have gotten that appointment.
I love that. Absolutely. I'll reiterate that in a second, but yes, 100%. Go ahead.
With all due respect to what you're saying, what I was always taught with role play is be realistic, be tough, give them real objections that you really hear. Don't be stupid. Give them a hard time. But in the end, I was always taught, do give them the appointment in the end, because we want to visualize getting the appointment. We want to feel like, okay, if I keep overcoming and I keep handling this objection, I know I'm going to get this appointment with Andrew in the end. And then that can help us carry through on our calls, where we keep going until we get the appointment.
I love that. I love that. I'm going with that. No, that's cool. And I'll be honest, like I've been doing role play, I've been studying it, but I've never heard either of those sides to it. So I love hearing this from both of you. And absolutely, I think the reality is, I think there's pros to both for sure. I think this is definitely going to be, no, you got to be hard. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're uplifting each other. And we're giving ourselves that opportunity to feel like we can actually get through this in real life. But be tough. There's that balance. Be tough. Don't be an asshole. All right.